does the truth lie?
We're taking our destiny back! You're not our gods or masters!
Alex Jones is a popular radio personality and rogue journalist whose belief in the power of secret societies is often labeled as extreme.
Secret societies have always existed, and they're more powerful than ever. Nothing impacts your life every day more than these secret power structures.
Mitch Horowitz is a historian who rejects the idea that secret societies have any power today.
People are right to be concerned today over a absence or a lack of accountability within our government, but they are not going to fix that lack of accountability by looking to organizations like Freemasonry. If a person is really interested in seeking truth, there are many other places to look.
To the conspiracist way of thinking, if an airplane flies into the World Trade Center, clearly somebody either made it happen or let it happen, because that would be an accident of far too great a magnitude.
For true believer Alex Jones, this secret power is a proven fact.
We know that there are powerful interests that meet behind closed doors. We know there are powerful cartels and combines, and they are very hard to deal with, especially when you can't even convince the population that they exist.
Is it possible that they are still active in our society today? James Wasserman is a veteran leader of one of the most controversial and mysterious of all purported secret societies, the Ordo Templi Orientis, an offshoot of Freemasonry.
I've been a member of Ordo Templi Orientis, OTO, for 36 years.
Wasserman says the OTO and all secret societies share one thing in common. They keep their activities hidden from the general public.
Secret societies are ultimately about information. Secrecy is a way of discerning whether someone can be trusted or not trusted. It is a way of discerning who's who.
Jones says, no matter what the reason, societies that keep secrets are inherently dangerous.
Anything that's secretive, anything that's fraternal, can easily be turned into a gang or into a mafia. Power tends to combine together with other people that are powerful, and powerful people and institutions tend to try to keep secrets because knowledge is power. There was initiation, there was rank, there were certain purification ceremonies, rites, rituals. So secrecy, as it was practiced in the ancient world, had a sacred component to it. It was part of religious life.
1,000 years later, a new kind of secret society emerged, a Christian order with a name that would become the stuff of legend, the Knights Templar.
They were separate and apart from all other groups within European Christendom. They had a certain distinctive dress, their initiation rituals. The Knights Templar were, in fact, the Pope's private army.
Some traditions suggest that the Templars gave birth to an even more mysterious secret society that still exists today, the Fraternal Order of Freemasons.
There is a legitimate mystery over where Freemasonry came from. There's a tradition within the order that Masonry has its earliest beginnings among the builders of Solomon's Temple. There's another simply means stone mason, mathematician, someone who knows how to build palaces, cathedrals in Europe, which was seen as magic.
Masonic power stemmed originally from this ability to construct majestic buildings, but over centuries, the network of Masonic connections became more important than the stonework.
You start to see some of the earliest and clearest references to Freemasonry in the early to mid-1600s. They met as an organization of people who had Enlightenment era values, particularly religious and political equality.
In the Revolutionary era, that Masonic network challenged the authority of kings, a dangerous game.
Well into the 1700s, veiling religious, civic, and aristocratic.
Dangerous game.
Well into the 1700s, if you ran afoul of the prevailing religious, civic, and aristocratic authorities, you could be arrested, you could even lose your life.
of the Revolutionary era borrowed rituals from the ancient pagan world.
They wanted to conjure spirits. They wanted to prophesize by the stars. They wanted to mine the secrets of alchemy. But more than that, they also wanted to try to recreate some of the vanished temple orders that had given rise to these practices.
Secret societies and their rituals have continued in this country into our own era. More than a dozen presidents have been Freemasons, from Andrew Jackson to Gerald Ford.
When you go to Washington, D.C., you see the monuments, you see the grandeur, you see the American flag. That's the city we love, the city that supports freedom and liberty. But there's an encoded city in those hieroglyphs that tells another story. A story of occult power, a new Rome built in North America.
Jones says that secret society power surfaces even today in the political system. I want to lead this world toward more peace and freedom. Exhibit A in his argument, a secret society known as Skull and Bones, founded in 1832 at Yale University. The group came up in interviews with President George W. Bush and Senator John Kerry during the 2004 presidential election.
Here are two candidates running against each other, part of the same secret society, and they won't talk about it when they're on NBC.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret.
And what does George W. Bush say? The exact same thing.
It's so secret we can't talk about it. What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm sure they are. It's got presidents, it's got CIA directors, it's got some of the most elite people you can imagine. Idiots, alumni.
Skeptics call this a wildly distorted view of the idea that secret societies exist today, conducting rituals and impacting our lives from the shadows. The search for answers leads to the
The core of Masonry really is to help good men become better. We work on the man's relationship to his family and to society and to his spiritual being.
Kirk Watley is a master mason in Amherst, Massachusetts.
As a Mason, we have responsibilities to give back to society and to improve ourselves.
On a Saturday morning in Amherst, the members of the lodge are holding a pancake fundraiser to buy healthy snacks for kids in local schools. Masons around the country raise an estimated $2 million a day in charity.
What we do is we adopt local school systems, so the money we raise here stays local and goes to local kids in need.
Watley's Pacific Lodge has roughly 150 members, a tiny fraction of the estimated 2 million Masons all over the United States.
To become a Mason, the man must be 18 years old or older, be well recommended by someone who's already a Mason.
He must also believe in God. Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, it doesn't matter.
The belief in a supreme being in becoming a Mason is important because in each degree you take an obligation, and that obligation is taken upon the holy book of your particular religion. And there's those oaths that you will keep sacred and secret. If you do not believe in a supreme being, then those oaths and obligations that you take are functionally meaningless.
Masons rise in ranks known as degrees. For most Masons, the highest degree possible is the 32nd.
There is one rank above that, which is 33rd degree, which is a rank of privilege, and at that point you're supposed to be somebody who has a really firm command of Masonic tradition, rites, and rituals.
No matter where they are, Masons seek each other out and help each other out.
When I travel, I have my Masonic Lodge pin on my lapel or on my identification badge, and I've met Masons from all over the world.
Historians say Masonic connections and principles played a decisive role in the founding of the United States.
Some of our very best civic values, religious liberty in particular, owe a certain debt to Freemasonic influence in the colonial age of this country.
James Wasserman owes his own debt. His secret society, the Ordo Templi Orientis, has deep roots in Freemasonry. He says in Washington, D.C., the positive contributions of this ancient order are written in stone.
The monuments and architecture of Washington, D.C. is meant to serve as a force of light to attract the greatest good for humanity.
The main symbols of Freemasonry are on display.
The primary symbol is that letter G that stands for both God and geometry.
An even more important symbol may be the sunburst that surrounds the G.
God is the radiance. God is the center of the radiance, that solar symbol in which the G is enshrined.
That sunburst symbol appears again on the ceiling of one of the most hallowed institutions in the country, in the Great Hall of the Library of Congress, a poem in stone to the profound influence of Masonic principles on American government.
This is a true temple of liberty, of the Enlightenment. And in that sense, it is also a temple of Freemasonry.
White monuments that symbolize American power and liberty and freedom. But if you look closer, you see another city, covered with occultic runes and symbols and hieroglyphs. It tells another story. It tells the story of an occult elite hell-bent on creating a new world government. A new world order will fall.
Yet, is there any real evidence of this dark side to Freemasonry? Before a man can call himself a Mason, he must undergo a ritual passed down through generations. Active Masons refuse to discuss the details of those rituals.
Men are equal in the sight of God.
The historical record shows that President Roosevelt, he was a high-ranking 33rd degree Mason. He appointed 9 Supreme Court justices. At least 6 were formal Masons. President Truman, who followed him, he was another high-ranking 33rd degree Mason. Truman also appointed 4 justices, all of whom were Freemasons. And Eisenhower, who followed him, appointed 3 more justices, both of whom were Masons.
There is
We do not belong to you. We are not your slaves.
an international organization known for half a century as the Bilderberg Group. Known as the Bilderberg Group.
So the Bilderbergs came together in the early 1950s, and it was a group of European and American businessmen and political figures. The meetings were closed. There were some very, very wealthy people involved with the group.
Rogue journalist Alex Jones has spent years trying to prove that this modern-day secret society actually chooses world leaders.